Good evening and welcome to this episode of Autism Talking. I'm your host, Sebastian Flyer. Today I want to talk about something many parents, caregivers, and autistic adults know very well: sleep issues. More specifically, why do so many autistic children and people struggle to sleep at night, and why is it often misunderstood? I also want to mention my book, Living with Autism Level 2. 190 pages with a lot of personal information growing up. It's available as an ebook and a physical book at Amazon. About tonight's topic, sleep. When a child doesn't sleep, people often assume bad routines, too much screen time, poor discipline, anxiety, parenting issues. But with autism, the story is often different. Sleep difficulties are significantly more common in autistic children and people than in neurotypical people. Some studies suggest between 40 to 80% of autistic children experience chronic sleep problems. That's not a coincidence. That suggests biology. To understand autistic sleep, we have to understand the autistic day. Many autistic children process more sound, more visual detail, more background noise, more textures, more movement, more social information, more smell. The autistic brain does not filter sensory input in the same automatic way as neurotypical brains do. Imagine spending your entire day hearing every fluorescent light, feeling every clothing seam, notice every movement in a room, trying to decode facial expressions, suppressing stimming, and trying to act normal. That is very exhausting. But the important part, exhaustion does not always equal sleep. For some autistic children, nighttime is the first moment of the day when it's dark, it's quiet, there are no other demands, no expectations, no social decoding, no strange smells. The nervous system finally feels safe enough to slow down. And that is when the brain begins to process. Thoughts from earlier replay, conversations replay, sensory impressions replay. It can feel like the brain is sorting files that were stacked all day. So instead of sleep, there is processing. Not because the child wants to stay awake, because the brain finally has space to do some work. Autistic nervous systems are often more sensitive and more reactive. Many autistic children live in a state of hyper-alertness, heightened awareness, chronic stress response. Even positive experiences can be stimulating. If the nervous system stays activated for too long, it does not simply switch off at bedtime. The body might be tired, but the brain is still scanning, still alert, still working. And the brain in alert mode does not easily deep sleep. There's also biology involved. Research shows that many autistic individuals have difference in melatonin production, delayed melatonin release, irregular circadian rhythms. Melatonin is the hormone that signals the body that it's time to sleep. If melatonin rises later than usual, the child may not feel sleepy until very late at night. Some autistic children naturally have delayed sleep phase, meaning their internal clock simply runs later. This is not behavioral. It's neurological. And forcing sleep before the body is ready often increases anxiety rather than helping. For some autistic children and adults, nighttime becomes the safest time of the day. No one is asking them to make eye contact, stop flapping, stop moving, sit still, socialize. No one is correcting them, no one is overwhelming them. Night can feel predictable, controlled, and gentle. For a nervous system that has been overstimulated all day, that safety can feel very precious. And sometimes they don't want to give up by falling asleep. It's not defiance, laziness, manipulation, bad parenting. It's often a nervous system trying to regulate itself. Understanding this changes how we respond. Instead of punishment, we can offer support. Instead of frustration, we can ask, what does this nervous system need? Every child and person is different, but here are some approaches that might support autistic sleep. Reducing sensory load during the day. Creating predictable bedtime routines and times. Lowering light levels earlier. Reducing evening stimulation. Deep pressure or calming sensory input. Allowing safe stimming before bed. Accept gradual sleep shifts. And most importantly, compassion. Because sleep problems are exhausting for the child and for the family. But shame does not help sleep. Safety does. Instead of asking, why won't this child sleep? We might ask, what is their brain still working on? What is their nervous system trying to calm? What happened during the day that still needs processing? When we understand that autistic sleep differences are often neurological, sensory, and biological, not behavioral, we shift from control to care, and that changes everything. If this is you, if you're lying awake at night, if your brain feels wide awake when the world is finally quiet, you're not broken, you're not wrong, you're not difficult, you're perfectly okay. I hope you begin to understand yourself a little better. I hope you give yourself the time and patience you would give a child with the same problem. Thank you for listening, and good night, wherever you are.